It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran for big and small. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
Welcome to this episode of
Tell us about Islam.
Tell Us About Islam. I'm your host, Yusuf Estes, and for the next few minutes, we're going to be talking with our special guests about their questions, what they'd like to know. And today we have with us
Ambreen,
and
Asna,
Huda,
Bilal,
Faiz,
Ismail.
and Ismail. So today, what would you like to ask me about?
Tell us about Quran.
Tell you about the Quran. Well, fortunate for me that I have the Quran right here. Let's find out what you'd like to know. What would you like to know about the Quran?
The stories in the Quran.
Stories. It's like you guys got this rehearsed or something here. All right. Well, there's a lot of stories in here. I mean, we got over 600 pages in the Quran. What kind of story would you like? Let's start with the girls. What story do you like? Have you read the whole Quran?
Yes, I have.
All of it?
Yes.
Oh, mashallah. Okay, well, I guess you know what you're talking about then. Is there a particular prophet or anything that you'd like to talk about?
Yes, the Prophet Moses.
Moses?
Peace be upon him.
Peace be upon him. Prophet Moses. Okay, what in particular would you like to talk about Moses? There's a lot of stories in here about Moses. What in particular?
The part in which Prophet Moses is speaking to God on the mount.
That is Turi Sin, Mount Sinai. And when he went up on Mount Sinai, Allah was talking to him directly, speaking to Moses directly. And Moses could speak to Allah directly. Now we can do that too in our salat. We just don't hear Allah speak back like he did. And when he came down, he had these tablets or stone that he had all this on, the information that he had. And when he got down from Mount Sinai with these commandments from Allah, do you remember what the children of Israel were doing, what they had made, what they did?
Worshipping the calf.
Worshipping a calf made out of what? Gold. They took all this gold that they had, they heated it up, it melted, then they shaped it to look like a calf, a golden calf. Because the people where they had come from used to do the same thing, and they wanted to do what those people did and worship statues, and they worshiped a golden calf. Now Allah made the wind blow through the mouth of it in such a way it sounded like it was going, oh, kind of like a cow makes moo, like that sound. And so they were saying, oh, it's alive, and they're worshiping it and praying to it. Was the messenger, Moses, was he upset?
Yes.
Yeah. Was he angry?
Yes.
Yeah, he was very angry. He was so angry that he actually threw down the tablets that he had, didn't he? Now, the story that you're talking about has a lot of meaning in it, very deep meanings, and a lot more than we could even do in one show. So for now, we'll keep that in mind and we'll move to the next one. I want to ask you, Ismail, what's your favorite story? Have you read the whole Quran?
Yes.
All of it?
Yes.
MashaAllah. Okay, tell me your favorite.
No, peace be upon him.
Noah? Ah, that's the one that had what was his story? Do you remember something about the story?
Yes.
What?
He had made the ark.
The ark. Yes, the big ship. Full of what? What did he go get and fill it up?
Full of animals.
Animals. Lots of animals, right? But he got them twos and by pairs and different things, and they brought them in, and they had all the animals. And he was trying to get the people to come in there too, right? But he got a lot more animals than he did people, didn't he? Did you know how long he tried to get the people to listen to him? And they didn't listen. 950 years. Can you imagine that? almost 1,000 years, that he was telling his people, worship Allah. Just worship Allah by himself. Otherwise, Allah is going to bring a big storm, a lot of water. We're going to have a big flood. And they were laughing at him. Do you know what they were worshiping? Now, they weren't worshiping a golden calf. What they were worshiping is statues. Because what had happened, they used to have very good people, very nice, good people. So much so that when the people died, they wanted the next people who were born to know about them. So they made statues of those people and said, you know, this guy and this lady and this one, they were very nice. You need to be like them. And they gave them names of the people. So the people began to worship the statue instead of Allah. And that's what he was telling them, don't worship these statues. But of course, the people kept worshiping the statues, except a few that got in the ark with him. Then when the water came from above and from below as well. There was so much water, it flooded the whole area. Now, he was trying to get his son to get into the ark. And his son said, nah. He said, but the flood will come. He said, if it does, I'll go up the mountain. He said, but even if you go up the mountain, it's not going to be enough. He said, I'll go higher up the mountain. He said, no, you don't understand. It's going to be everywhere. This flood will be huge. But his son didn't listen. And the water came, and the ark floated and went up, up, up. Then when his son is pounding on the outside, there's nothing they can do, because they can't open it back up because it'll drown everybody. His son died. But he didn't die as a believer anyway. He didn't believe in Allah. Many people don't believe in Allah. And some people say they do, but they worship something that Allah made. And that was the point of the story in the Quran. Okay. Asma, what do you have? What's your story?
Yusuf alayhi salam.
Yusuf? That's my name. All right. Let's see what we have about Yusuf. What's the part that you like best about it?
When he was in the well.
In the well? Oh, I know where that is. That's the part when his brothers had decided, they were jealous. The brothers of Yusuf, Joseph, they were jealous because they felt that Jacob, their father, loved him more than he loved them. So what they said is, let us take Yusuf with us, and we'll take him and he'll have fun, he'll have a good time. But the father was saying, no, you won't take care of him. I'm afraid that you won't be watching. Maybe a wolf will get him and eat him. They said, no, 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 no. How would it be if a wolf could come and get him with us right there? Look how strong we are, the team that we are. There were like 10 of them, you know? And they were saying, see, we're big, we're powerful. How could a wolf come and just grab him up? I mean, that'd be terrible for us too, you know? And on the way, though, they said, let's kill him. And somebody said, no, let's don't kill him. Let's just throw him in a well and let a caravan pick him up. And they said, well, how will we do that? I got an idea. So what they did, they took blood from something else, a goat or sheep or something, took his shirt and put the blood on it, threw him in the well, left him. And when they went back to the father, they said, oh, we know you're not going to believe us. But it really did happen. While we were working, all of a sudden this wolf, he came and he grabbed him and we couldn't stop him and he ate him and oh, we're so sorry. Here's the shirt, see the blood. Now what's funny, before they even did it, they said, we'll throw him in the well and then we'll go back home and then after that we'll become good. Now what kind of person does that? You think about, let's go do something really bad and then afterwards we'll become good. It means what? There's no good in that person, is there? You don't think about repenting before you do the crime. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the story there. And those people of that time wasn't just about worshiping the wrong thing. It was about lying. About lying. And a lot of things happen in that story. It's a very good story. It's also in the Bible, too, by the way. Very similar. If you read this chapter 12, Yusuf, in the Quran, and look at Genesis in the Old Testament, you'll find a very similar story there. So I guess, Faiz, you're next. Have you read the whole Quran?
Yes, I did.
All of it?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite part?
I like Prophet Adam.
Adam. Prophet Adam.
Yes.
Well, what part do you like?
I like the part when the Satan tempted him to eat the fruit and he ate it.
Oh, when the devil came to him. You remember this story? The devil came to Adam and tried to get him to eat the fruit. Now, I guess you know about Hawa, Eve. Yeah, Allah made Eve from the bone of Adam. And then both of them were told you could have anything to eat and drink, anything in the paradise you like, enjoy it, except one thing. Don't eat the fruit from that tree right there. Okay, so they wouldn't eat it until the shaitan, the devil, came to him and said, go ahead, you can eat it. Eat it. Well, Hawa ate it, Adam ate it, and when they ate it, then Allah made them all go down out of the paradise onto the earth. We're going to take this break, so don't you dare go away. We'll be right here when you get back.
Islam is a way of life.
We're back. You're watching Tell Us About Islam. And my guests with me today have been asking about the Quran and actually telling me what they know, and I'm sharing with them a little bit more about these stories. And the stories, it seems like everybody's interested in a different prophet. I'm going to come to you now, and I'm going to ask you, tell us what you know. Did you read the whole Quran?
Yes.
All of it? Okay. Now, do you have a favorite story or a favorite prophet or something?
Yes, Jesus.
Jesus. Ah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people in the world would like to know what Islam says about Jesus. But is there a particular part that you like in the Quran?
Yes, about his mu'jizeen.
His mu'ajizeen. What does that mean in English?
Miracles.
His miracle. Okay. Let's see what we got in here. Do you know what some of the miracles are? Who knows what's the very first miracle of Jesus? Who knows? Tell me. Who? What?
He didn't have a father.
He didn't have a father, did he? So that's miracle birth, isn't it? That's the first miracle. What's the next miracle? What?
He spoke when he was in his cradle.
Spoke from the cradle. Guys, you're going to have to get on the ball over here. They're running away from you. Okay, another miracle. Guys, you know another miracle? Yes, Ismail.
He could make the dead person alive.
He could bring a dead person back to life. That was pretty good. Let's read from the Quran and see what it says here. And because I think this is pretty interesting. Allah says in the Quran, in chapter 3, Al Imran, and we find this you can see it in verse 48, 49, and 50. It says, and Allah would teach him about writing and wisdom, and teach him the Torah and the Gospel. This means the Old Testament, the New Testament, and made him a messenger to the children of Israel. And he said to them, indeed, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. I designed for you from clay in the form of a bird. Then I breathed life into it. Now, how did he do that? And then it becomes a live bird by the permission of Allah. That's how he did it. He said, by Allah's permission. I cure the blind, heal the leper. Those people that have these sores all over their bodies. I give life to the dead, like Ismail was saying, he brought the life into somebody who was dead. And again he said, Bidnillah, which means by the permission of Allah. And I inform you of what you eat and what you keep stored up in your houses, and in that is certainly a sign for you, if indeed you're believers. And I am coming to confirm what was before me of the Torah, which came with Moses and Abraham and all the previous prophets, you see. And what was made lawful to you, and some of what was forbidden to you. Because, see, they added things to what the law from Allah. They added some things and said, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can do this and you can do that, which what needed to be straightened out. And he was straightening out and telling them about what we will call the spirit of the law, so that they understand it's not just something to make our life difficult, but Allah has reasons for what he gives us. Anyway, he said, and I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, so fear Allah and obey me. So he didn't actually say, fear me, I'm Allah. He said, fear Allah and obey me. And by the way, that's what all the prophets told their people. Fear Allah, worship him alone with no partners, and follow your messenger. He said, indeed, Allah is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him. That's the straight path. And guess what? Because I used to be a Christian, and I used to spend some time reading my Bible and sharing it with others, I will tell you in the Bible it also says, my Lord and your Lord, my God and your God, just like we found here. So this is very similar. So those who are Christian can find a commonality in our Quran and in their Bible. So that's pretty good. Is there any other prophet or story or anything we'd like to talk about? What about Bilal? Did you read the whole Quran?
Yes.
Oh, mashallah. Do you have a particular story or anything that you like?
Yes.
What?
Prophet Muhammad.
Prophet Muhammad.
Peace be upon him.
Peace be upon him. What number is chapter Muhammad?
47.
47, you're exactly right. And even though there's this whole chapter that's called Muhammad, we find that his name is not all over the place. Like I said, there's only 4 times. And the story that you're talking about is called the what? Hijrah?
Yes.
The Hijrah. The Hijrah is when the Prophet Muhammad had to leave from where he was and migrate and go to Medina. And he had to do that under the threat of people trying to kill him. In fact, they had come to kill him in the night. But he got his cousin. What's his cousin's name? Ali, right. And so Ali is going to sleep in his bed instead of him. So when the tribe members came, they were going to kill who they thought was Muhammad. And all other tribes represented 12 tribes, so they had 12 different people. Each one was going to be there so they could say that the whole tribes did it, so no tribe could blame another tribe. That was their idea. Pretty good plan, and they got there. And who did they find under the covers? Ali. You know what's strange? Later on, they talked to Ali about that. If he was nervous or afraid, he said, no, it's the best sleep I ever had in my life was when I slept that night, because he knew that Allah would protect him. Sure enough, he did. Now, in the meantime, Prophet Muhammad and one companion did go away from Mecca to the south and around, and guess what? They fooled those guys, because when they went out trying to figure out where they went, they couldn't figure it out. Who was the companion that went with him?
Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Abu Bakr is the one who was his lifelong friend from the very beginning. When he was young, they were friends. Abu Bakr is also the first man accepting Islam. First one. And he was also the first that if Prophet Muhammad said anything, he would just say, if he said it, that's it. It's the truth. I accept it. That's how he got the name as-Sadiq, which means the one who confirms the truth. So the two of them, they traveled together, and at one point they were tired, and they laid down in like a small cave with some rocks around it. And while they were there, does anybody know what happened? Some people came looking for them, and they got almost up close to it, and they thought maybe they would find them in there. And while they were there, Abu Bakr, he was trying to be quiet because Muhammad was sound asleep. And there was this like a scorpion or some kind of, insect, something. And it stung him. It bit him, with poison, everything. And he didn't go, ah, or nothing, just, and he was real quiet. And he was sweating, When Prophet ﷺ woke up, he saw him in this condition. What happened? He told him, look, see. So Prophet ﷺ, look, he just did something real easy with him. Like, and it was healed. Just like that. Allah healed it. Because we were talking about what Jesus, peace be upon him, did in healing. And we find that prophets are gifted by Allah with this healing thing. So anyway, then they journeyed on. And when they finally got to Medina, the people were rejoicing. They were very happy. And everybody wanted him to come and stay in their house. But he didn't go into the city right away. He waited and stayed outside the city. And that was actually the beginning of another long story. But we've already done a series called Qasas al-Anbiya, Stories of the Prophets. I'll let people look that up on our channel another time when we're showing that. But I wanted to talk about each one of these a little bit to create an interest in all of our students to read more of the Quran, learn more of what the Quran really says about not only prophets, but all the stories in the Quran. There are many stories in the Quran. So now what I'd like to do is give each one of you a chance to ask a quick question about something in Islam. And it's up to you what you want to. It doesn't have to be about our subject of any of the prophets or the Quran. How about you, Faiz? Do you have a question?
Yeah. What does Islam tell about the television?
What does Islam say about TV? Well, we're watching TV right now, so actually people ask me about TV. I say Islam says there's nothing wrong with the TV as long as you don't turn it on. It's just fine if you leave it off. But when you turn it on, now you have a problem. It's like picking up a knife. Nothing wrong with a knife till you pick it up. What are you going to do with that knife? Something good, something bad. So the same for the TV. You want to do good things, watch good things on TV that are benefit, things you need. But when you don't need it, turn it off and leave it. But don't turn it off in the middle of our show, by the way. And do you have a question for us? It's not.
What does Islam say about smoking?
Smoking? Oh, smoking kills people. It not only kills a person smoking, it kills other people in the room that aren't even the smokers. Also, it costs a lot of money, waste of money. Plus, also, it's a habit-forming drug. And since we found those things out, we have to say, no good. Can't do that. You have to stop. If you smoke, quit. If you can't quit, go get help. Get some professional help for that. Ismail, what do you have? Any questions?
What does Islam say about celebrating Christmas?
Christmas is a birthday party for Jesus. It's called Christ Mass. People gathering together for the sake of Christ. We don't celebrate it that way. We look at Jesus as being a miracle, yes, but we don't even really know what day he was really born. And this was a pagan celebration that came in 300 years after Jesus, so we don't celebrate it. Last and finally, what is your question?
What does Islam say about keeping dogs?
Dogs? Dogs? Well, you can have a dog if you have a purpose for it and you keep it out of the area where you pray. Keep the dog outside. It can be a guard dog, a shepherd dog to take care of your animals. It can be a seeing eye dog. It can be a dog that does many things as long as you need the dog for something. And you don't bring it in the area where you're praying. You keep it out of your house and stuff. Another thing is, if he licks you or anything, you need to wash it off. And it's better not to really keep any pets or animals unless you really need them for something. Because otherwise you're keeping them in a prison, a tiny prison that they have to live in. And it's hard for them, especially when you don't take care of them, you're not with them. If you just come home from school, play with the dog a few minutes, and then you leave him go, this is too hard on him, and it's not fair. So Islam didn't say you can't do it, but there's a lot of restrictions. And pretty much that gives you an idea of Islam itself. That in Islam we have things that are okay, things that are not okay. But remember the balance. Always remember the balance in Islam. But that is another thing that just happened. I realized we got to balance and get out of here because we just came to an end of another episode of Tell Us About Islam. So until next time, from all of us to all of you, peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
Do you know what Islam is? It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran for big and small. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is